Dr. Harry, and welcome to my Unit 7 journal discussion. Today, I would like to talk about confidentiality. To me, confidentiality means just general obligation to keep sensitive or private information private. That means only sharing that information with individuals who need to know. The best way about sharing that information is to inform the client during the informed consent process what information will be shared and whom it will be shared with, and also to provide them the opportunity to recommend additional parties that they would like to be privy about certain communications about them. When clients enter into services, have privacy rights. Professionals' diligence to inform clients of those rights and the limitations to those rights as it relates to privacy and confidentiality. Those that have these restrictions, communication restrictions as it relates to confidentiality, fields, legal professions, therapy, counseling, and many other fields that receive sensitive information from clients. Being truthful and honest with clients in the beginning of services allows us to build trust, and it also gives us the opportunity to include them in the process of sharing certain details. I think it is also crucial to make clients aware of the legal ramifications surrounding confidentiality as well. And that will be that, just letting them know if there's anything that they report to us that can put them in danger, or just someone else in the general public, family member, whoever, that we are mandated to report that information to the appropriate authorities. Doing so, again, it just creates a clean, fresh start for the therapeutic process, I believe, and it lets the client know and be aware of what type of information, the consequences that come behind the type of information that they choose to share. And I mean, hopefully we want our clients to be transparent with us, but we also want them to be knowledgeable of our limitations as the helper. Everybody's on the same page, and it won't lead to any legal sanctions on our end, or the client feeling offended like they were misinformed or done wrong while attempting to seek help or services or whatever it may be, healthcare. It just keeps everybody on the same page. Wait to the client, not only in the beginning, but throughout the duration of services. A helping professional can breach client confidentiality by allowing information to get into the wrong party's hands. And that can be electronically, via client records, not securing or filing documents properly, or also just through verbal reporting information to a family member that may call in requesting information and they're not listed as a party that is privy to that information. So we just have to be very careful about maintaining our due diligence and obligation for safeguarding this personal information that we receive from our clients, and that includes their client records, and just making sure that they are, protected, because it can be harmful to a client if sensitive information gets into the wrong hands. In the state of Illinois, professions are required to do mandated reporting. Most commonly, teachers, physicians, anybody that pretty much works in social work, law enforcement, school personnel in general. If you become aware that a child, a senior, or just anybody in general could be in danger, but specifically with the children, that is a real big thing here. You are required to call the 1-800 Department of Children and Services, Children and Family Services hotline. We call it DCFS. That is their acronym. But in most of the jobs I've had since I've entered the human service field as a social service worker, I've always been designated a mandated reporter, and that's mostly because I generally work with a lot of vulnerable populations. Now, I will say these people are not children, but most of the time they have children. So I've worked that, may have faced challenges with incarceration, substance use, or may have some type of mental health issue. Interacting with these types of clients, if it is reported that their children may be in any type of danger or they pose a threat just based off my physical observations with them, I am required as a mandated reporter in the state of Illinois to report that to the DCFS hotline. And that hotline is 24 hours, 7 days a week. It operates and it has to be called in. The next course of action for me will be definitely after making a call or prior to making a call, depending on the severity of the situation. I would definitely need to update my superior and let them know what's going on. And then if there's any additional follow up from DCFS, after that, I do have to let the client know at that point, hey, I would have let the client know this was reported. It is my duty to report these type of issues or potential threats. I would invite them into the opportunity to, furnish any information to DCFS. And I would also let them know, because it is now an open investigation, that any future communications that we have, that information is also, it could be possibly requested as well. Investigation is ongoing. So yes, that is the mandated reporting responsibility in my state, which is the state of Illinois. Now, according to the Department of Children's Services and Family website within the state of Illinois, there are sanctions for mandated reporters who fail to report suspected abuse or neglect. Receive a Class A misdemeanor along with fines and possible jail time. So if you sit on information trying to protect the client for whatever reason, or you just are negligent in reporting and something happens and it comes back, you can be subject to doing some jail time, paying fines, and having a misdemeanor on your criminal record. So I will always do my due diligence to inform my client reporting responsibilities, so that way throughout the process they are fully aware of what could come if I suspect any harm or danger to another person. Confidentiality while working with minors. So, I mean, generally for most services like healthcare, counseling, and things of that nature, uh, parental consent is usually provided prior to a minor receiving such services. However, as the minor, it depends on age. I really feel like as the minor gets into that 12 to 15, 16 range, I think it's highly crucial that providers still offer the same type of informed consent process with minors, just letting them know how much, will be shared with parents. If not all, will be shared with their parents as it relates to their health care, any type of counseling or therapy that they're engaged in, and just making them aware of their rights. For the most part, uh, adults will be the ones to engage their children in like healthcare services. But again, we also have sometimes when teenagers get into situations and begin to seek healthcare outside of mom and dad. So in those instances, if they're not legal age for certain services, they will sometimes have to present some type of guardian to step in for them. And again, they would be privy to the information pertaining to them. So, confidentiality, I feel like working with minors can get tricky, but I feel like transparency again is best practice. Just keeping them informed of all the information that will be shared, and just making sure to reiterate that throughout the duration of the process will be crucial. Again, confidentiality limitations would still be the same regardless of a minor or an adult, patient or client. If there is a potential threat, danger, harm to themselves or others, I would have to let the minor know role and responsibilities to report that. That should also be explained to the parents, as they are the ones that engage them in many of the services that they may be needing for like healthcare or counseling or whatever that may be. If it's a potential threat to themselves, if they, state that they are feeling like or having suicidal thoughts or anything like that, that would be reported. So just keeping, the best practice for confidentiality um, is just keeping people informed, making sure they are fully aware and they understand everything that you are explaining to them as it relates to their confidentiality. Provides that extra layer of protection, not only for the client, but for the professional. In the state of Illinois, we do abide by the duty to warn. Mental health professional duty to warn is required to breach confidentiality if there is a clear threat or present danger to the individual or others. We are required to report that incident directly to law enforcement immediately. And that's just to help any potential victims. That is our duty to try to save a life. Get law enforcement involved early on to prevent something like that from happening. And also, with the duty to warn, not only are we, notifying law enforcement, but if we know it's a client and if I'm working with a client and he states that he's having thoughts about harming his wife, I might have to call the wife and let her know are in you could possibly be in danger. You may need to leave the home or whatever it may be. Steps that we are required to take due to the duty of warn in Illinois. So, under the duty of warn in the state of Illinois, if a professional witnesses a client make direct threats of violence against, a particular individual or group, us that they are having like any suicidal or homicidal ideations, this is of domestic violence in their home where children may be present or just children or any other individual may be present, that information has to be reported to the legal authority. Yes, we do honor the duty to warn within the state of Illinois. I want to thank you again for tuning in to my Unit 7 journal. Thank you. Have a great day.